Hello. I thought I'd do another video about a little bit of progress I made today on my Friendly Ear app. Um, it it was kind of going backwards and then one step forwards, but there's a couple of things to show. So I'll show you the feature I added back in first, and then I'll talk about how complicated that became for me. Um, so let's have a look at the app. I'm going to pull out my headphones so it doesn't listen to itself. It might take a sec for the audio to switch over. All right, so here is the app. I've got a what I'm calling a repo at the moment here, but it's a contact that you call. So I can click that. Previously, it would start calling straight away and I had to specifically go into the settings if I want. I've changed that now so that it opens some basic settings immediately first. So you can then click call and call straight away with those settings, or you can adjust on the fly what kind of discussion you want. So I'm going to leave it on those for now. I haven't implemented them anyway. But if I talk now,
Yo, what's up?
you'll hear that there was a little bit of a beep simulating a phone call, and then you can hear the guy talking to me.
I can't assist with identifying speakers from a voice sample.
He's getting a little confused because I'm talking to you. But let's say I talk about my dogs. My dogs' names are Edie and Emmett.
That sounds like a fun crew. How are Edie and Enid doing today?
And then I just shut down the app without actually ending the call. And so what I've implemented back in is that if that happens, it's still got the memory of the transcript there. So if I try and start a new call, it asks me, do I want to continue the previous one or do I want to start a new one or cancel? So I'm going to continue the previous one. And what it'll do is it'll feed the previous transcript to the AI agent so that it remembers that we had a previous call and it can continue off from there.
It looks like our previous call must have been cut off. The last thing I heard you say was, my dog's names are Edie and Emmett. And I responded, that sounds like a fun crew. How are Edie and Emmett doing today?
So you can see you can pick up again if your app crashes, which is really handy. But I'll stop that now. And the normal settings, so those are just the few settings. Oops, I accidentally clicked it again. Those are just a few settings you can change immediately, but the other deeper settings are hidden in here. I'll refine all this later anyway, but for now, I've just put them like that. So let me take off my headphones. It'll take a second to connect back to this mic, and we'll have a look at some other things. Just waiting for the mic because I'm not sure when it switches over, but I think it should be switched over by now. So I'm going to jump over to my code screen. And here I've got, so to get this working, I'm using WebRTC to connect to the audio. So it connects connects an audio stream straight to OpenAI. And it manages the audio playback for me, which is a problem because I'm using a React Native app and I want to be able to connect to headphones and I want to be able to connect to speakerphone and I want to be able to connect to the normal phone speaker. But I don't have control over that with WebRTC. So I tried to do a few things with Expo Audio to make it work and it wasn't working. I ended up building getting Cursor to build for me and an iOS, and I'll do this for Android as well, an iOS Swift module that handles the audio device management, and it monitors what the audio device that's connected to, and whenever that changes, it changes it back to the one I want because WebRTC kind of takes over it, and so the Swifting monitors it, and then whenever WebRTC does something weird, it changes it, and so that helps it fix. But what the issue I just had was I merged all this from a different branch into the main, and then I was like, oh, these other files, like the APKs that I made and the iOS builds, I can delete them. And I deleted them, and then and so that was this folder that I deleted, this iOS build. But my git ignore file was set up to ignore anything with an iOS name in the folder. Oops. So it also ignored these iOS folders. And all of a sudden I deleted all that work that I'd done for the native module for the audio management. And I used to host my Git repos in a Dropbox account as well, which was a little bit hard to manage to make sure I didn't get conflicts. But it was totally doable. You just set it to not sync. But I recently stopped doing that because I was like, this seems like it's going to cause issues. And then I hit this issue where actually I accidentally screwed something up and I didn't have a backup in Dropbox like I used to. Luckily, I was able to get it back because I hadn't cleared my bin on in iOS, on my OS 10. So I found that folder in the bin and I was able to restore it. But just a funny little story. I nearly lost all that. I had to rebuild it, which was annoying, but now it's all fine. Yeah, that's it. Just wanted to do a quick update. I think at the moment I'm kind of building this for myself. So I'm focusing on the features that make it usable for me before I add polish. So that was one of the features that was really important because occasionally the audio cuts out. Occasionally the app crashes because it's early days, and I want to make sure I can pick up where I left off without it having lost everything or losing the context of the conversation. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching. See you later.